There's Coach right there. Coach, first of all, how's the Irish accent? You got some time to work on that before now in 24, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not much for accents. We're worried about what we're doing right now in spring practice, but
I get that right. I figured that, but pretty cool deal. We were just talking about this is not only a great opportunity for your guys, same thing with Florida State, but from a recruiting perspective, the enhancement of your experience in college. You're going to get a great education at Georgia Tech, a chance to play for games and win championships and so forth, but a chance to see the world. I mean, I think everything about this seems like a win-win proposition.
yeah, it is. Give these kids an opportunity to do something they hadn't done before. I mean, my gosh, how many times do you go to college and know you're going to have a chance to go overseas and not just to go overseas to visit, but to play the game you love and compete, and not only that, but in a conference game versus a quality opponent. And it's really not only good for Georgia Tech, but it's great for the ACC.
You mentioned you're in the middle of spring football, just getting these practices started out there with your group, and really this is the first time that you're have the full keys to the car. You're the head coach, getting to plan all this stuff. What's it been like being the head of the snake, getting this all put together and back out on the field?
Yeah, it's obviously got a little bit of a trial run doing it, I guess you'd say, towards the end of the season last year, but it's different than it was during the season. So a lot more planning, a lot more detail going into things because you have 2.5 months to really plan for those practices to get going. So the whole thing is we want to put our players in the best position to go out there and learn and get better and improve their techniques and improve fundamentals and learn how to be disciplined and play with toughness and execute what's given to them. So it's ABC building blocks. It's what it is.
It's hard to believe 1 month from today your spring game takes place, and it just seems like the whole year gets so condensed now. Whether we're talking football, basketball, baseball, whatever the case may be, between the transfer portal, recruiting, spring game, the announcement of the 24 start in Dublin, Ireland, do you get a chance to come up for air at any point in time, or does it just seem like a blur with everything that's going on right now?
It really doesn't. I mean, I'm not joking. We really take a lot of pride in worrying about each day we have and being where our feet are and doing what we have to do that day. Not worrying about what's going to happen in the future. Not worrying about the past. And all you can do is learn from the past and prepare for the future, and that all comes from the day you're in right now. So that's something as coaches that we preach to each other. We preach to the players. We really want that to be the standard of the way we do things around here. So we had the announcement today of playing in Ireland, which is a great opportunity for our kids. But it's right back to work and focusing right now what we have to do, because otherwise it's a lot if you start looking forward and starting to worry about all the other things that you really can't control right now.
Future also includes figuring out who your quarterback's going to be this fall. And I know you bring in Haynes King, the Texas A&M transfer, and then you have both Zachs on the roster and Gibson and Pyron. So what are you looking for? I know it's just spring right now and the competition will continue, but what are you looking for from your quarterbacks, the biggest position on the field this spring, Coach?
Yeah, so Chris Winkie and Buster Faulkner had their press conference today, and I made it a point to go sit down in Chris's press conference and ask him the same question. So, asked him who the starter would be, what he's looking for. I wanted him to say it, but he was pretty tight to the vest with it. Wouldn't give many indications one way or the other. So, we'll just find out another time. But I think it goes with anything. The thing we're looking for is toughness, number one, out of that position. Ability to sustain, the leadership qualities that come along with it. I mean, gosh, there's probably five things we're looking for before it even comes down to anything mechanically or throwing the football or running the football. So a lot of them are intangible things that we're working on now, but we've been working on since January. So Chris does an outstanding job with those guys, teaching them those things. Having been someone that obviously had the success that he did in college and then going on and playing in the National Football League. So great role model for those things. In Chris being around them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. What have you seen from your football team as far as season ends, come up for air, let's get back to work? What have you seen the most improvement with your football team away from the field at this point in time?
The biggest thing, I mean, they're hungry to learn. They want to learn. They want to be coached. Which when you get a group of guys that want to be coached and they want to be put in tough positions, and then they're learning from them. But they don't want you to back down and take it easy. They want more. They want more. They want more. And then it allows us as coaches to really know when to pull back or when to push, and because they're going hard all the time. And obviously you put the pads on now, and it's a different type of effort that we're looking for. Being able to sustain that throughout an entire practice. But I think their eagerness to learn, their eagerness to work, and their capacity to work now has been the biggest improvement that I've seen.
This is the time, kind of obviously you're on the field, but the ability to build camaraderie and togetherness. And we talk about the trip to Ireland, how that is great for team bonding as well. You guys have anything planned this spring to do something together as a team, whether it's small outings together or a trip planned that'll bring you guys together before you really get down to it?
Yeah, so every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we've planned about an hour and a half together by position in the mornings, learning football. And then pretty immediately after that it's a 2-hour group session all together on the field, and they're practicing. And they get to put pads on doing it. They get to throw the football around. They get to hit. They get to tackle. They get to do all those things. So really 3 days a week, and then culminating on a Saturday where we have a really big get together with the whole team, and we actually get to scrimmage. So that's really the 4 days a week now. So 5 days in meetings. So
you know what? I was just thinking, watching you answer that question, and I was just thinking about Winky at the microphone, and you sitting there in the back just waiting for him to have a hiccup. And the fact, an experienced guy, he learned from the master there when Bobby Bowden. So I figured he wasn't going to have a hiccup, but I could just see you right there going, man, you better not announce anybody starting at quarterback yet, because there's going to be a mean question coming back here from the back of the room. You'd be a tough reporter, Coach. I'll tell you.
Chris is great. It's all fun. The great thing about this staff, that we've put together, it's they are dialed. They're great teachers. They're great people. Great recruiters. But I tell you what, we're having a blast. We really are. We're having a blast together. Working together. Getting to know each other's good sides and bad sides. But it's been a lot of fun so far, just with the staff being around and seeing them get together, and just the way they coach and teach the kids out there.
I know that you're probably going to answer this question by going, Pack, I haven't spent 2 seconds worrying about it, but no divisions this year in ACC football. And I know you're worried about your team. You could care less about anybody else from that perspective. But have you thought about that at all? As far as the fact, hey, forget about the Atlantic, forget about the Coastal. Hey, all you got to do is be one of those top 2 teams to get to Charlotte. It is a different animal this year as far as schedules and how it looks from a fan's perspective, a player's perspective, even a coach's perspective.
Pack, the answer to this. Come on, man. I mean, seriously, I'll know what my schedule tomorrow is tonight before I go to bed, and I look at it on my Outlook calendar. So, it's all business, man. I mean, it really is. It's hitting coach talk, man. This is the way we work, the way we live, and the way we're trying to ingrain it into everyone's minds. And it's not just football that we're wanting these guys to live this way. This is the way of life. To be able to truly live each day, one day at a time, do your best, be where your feet are, and make the most out of that day. Because when the day is gone, it's gone. You got nothing else. So, if we can continue to do that, alleviate the anxiety these young people feel all the time, by worrying so much about what's going to happen in the future. That's a major point of our entire program.
I think I needed that pep talk too, Coach. So I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Well, right now I know you're in the middle of football, but the basketball season, we're getting into tournament play right now. Had some great first 4 games last night. Are you a big bracket guy? Do you fill out a bracket? I know you say you have a tight schedule. You're just worried about the next day, but do you fill out a bracket when it comes to March Madness?
I didn't know they had started.
There you go. There's the answer to that question. You didn't even know it started.
Hey, by the way, we had Damon Stoudemire on the show yesterday. Have you had a chance to meet your new basketball coach yet? Just curious.
Yeah, snuck down to the press conference yesterday. Both of us time obviously tight, so I got out pretty quickly. And we had J-Bat had a head coaches meeting today that we do once a month, and able to go in there and sit with him today and talk to him. And I tell you what, I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm excited the way that he's really just even in the opening press conference and embraced the past here and the history of Georgia Tech and the rich tradition from talking about Coach Crimmins to the players that played here and in embracing the city, of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, but also understanding the ability with Georgia Tech to be able to go out and recruit nationally. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the future lies there. Excited to get a chance to be around him more and pick his brain and have him pick mine. And because one thing is pretty certain if you look at the history of Georgia Tech, usually when one of the teams is good, both or all of them are good. So whether that be in the early '90s, the late '90s, 2000, I mean they pretty much go hand in hand. So I'm excited. I'm excited for him to be here. I'm excited for the future. Excited to see what's going to happen.
Well, we're excited to see you this fall. And so we've taken 15 minutes of your time. So it's time to get back to work. So off you go. All right. We'll call you later.
I appreciate you guys always. I'll take 15 for you guys anytime.
You got
Thanks,
it. Same here.
Coach.
Appreciate it, Coach. Take care of
All
yourself.
right, guys. Go Jackets.